Hey guys, Scott here. Today we're going to talk about the dreaded solo queue in Dead by Daylight. This is one of the most complained about things in the entire game. There have been numerous videos about it. There have been numerous tweets, and just overall general consensus is that solo queue is one of the most miserable things in the entire game. That's been the case for a very, very long time. Even super killer-sided people can kind of understand how annoying solo queue can be, because we've all had that game where we have just three lemming teammates that just don't know what they're doing. They just die in 2 seconds to a pig somehow, and then you're just losing to someone that you clearly shouldn't be losing to. It's a frustrating experience. So I think, an outlier. I genuinely enjoy solo queue. I don't know if it's Stockholm Syndrome or whatever, but I do truly enjoy it. Like, you can go and check my VODs for, I don't know, forever, and go watch me play Survivor, and I'm genuinely enjoying myself most of the time. Of course, there's a couple of exceptions. If you get like 3 clowns in a row or something like that, I'm more just bored than anything. But for the most part, I do genuinely enjoy solo queue. And I kind of want to show people how to enjoy that as well, because I do think really people absolutely loathe it. And if we could have everyone at the same level of enjoyment as I have with it, then I think overall the community would just be a lot happier. So this is just a guide, at least in my opinion, on how to actually enjoy solo queue. So the first thing that we have to understand is that you're not alone. And I don't mean that in like a Dead by Daylight kind of kinship thing where other people also hate it, so we can all group up and hate it. The thing I want to talk about here in this section is that hating solo queue is not a distinctly Dead by Daylight thing. That is just every game that has solo queue results in the same frustration. And honestly, I feel like I have like a theory that DBD players, they don't play any other games or something like that, because this always happens. They'll always say there's a problem with DBD that's like a specific DBD thing, but it's like, no, like every game has these issues. The most recent example of this was people talking about talking about imaginary rules and stuff like that. And Dead by Daylight's the only game where people get mad at you for just trying to win and stuff like that. It's like, dude, no, that's not true at all. Every game has people doing that. In Call of Duty, if you camp with an op, someone's going to bitch at you in the lower ranks. If you use a noob tube in Call of Duty, someone's going to bitch at you. It's a late epic 90s reference, but if you picked Oddjob in GoldenEye, people are going to bitch at you. Like, this happens in every fucking video game. I don't know why people have convinced themselves that for some reason DBD is the only game where people have these made up rules and they get mad if you break them. This legit happens in every game, and the only reason you wouldn't think that is if you haven't played any other games on the internet, because there's always some spoiled brat that's mad that you're picking a strategy or something that just makes them upset. So I try to make this clear that it's not a specific Dead by Daylight problem here. This is a problem that happens in every game. I'll give you just even recent examples for me. I've been playing WoW Arena just off stream for fun, just for something to do, right? And there's a mode there called Rated Battleground Blitz, where it's basically an 8v8 rated mode with MMR and everything, but you're solo queuing into it, and you have just 7 random teammates. And very often you will lose because your teammates are just stupid, not communicating, doing stupid things, and people get just as mad there as they do in Dead by Daylight and solo queue. It is the exact same thing. Hell, you could even make an argument it's less bad in Dead by Daylight because there's no active in-game chat. If you had an active in-game chat and you could type to people mid-DBD match, you know how many times you would be told to kill yourself because you didn't make a pallet save, or you didn't get a flashlight save, or you left someone hooked till second stage, or you didn't dude, it's almost a blessing sometimes that DBD does not have an actual in-game chat, because the level of hatred that I've seen in other games with this, the whole point of this whole topic is this is not a unique Dead by Daylight problem. This is something that happens in every game with solo queue. You will always have people getting very upset with their teammates. It's just the nature of games in general when you're put with people that you might not necessarily want to be put with. And that will never be fixed, ever, for the ending of gaming's existence. That will be a constant thing forever. So that's the first part. You have to accept. I think acceptance is the first step to growing. You have to understand that this is not a uniquely Dead by Daylight problem. It's very frustrating. And very often, lack of communication can result in even more frustration, but also lack of communication would result in less people, telling you to kill yourself and stuff like that. So it's a little bit of give and take, but that does lead us to the next section, which is the lack of communication. Very often, the counter argument to what I just said is, well, those games you can type to each other. You can, have pings and stuff like that. You can tell people on your team to help out in a way that you need them to help out, so it's far less frustrating. And it's true, Dead by Daylight doesn't really have much of that. But the thing is, it kind of does have that. And it really comes down to being able to read the Survivor UI. So this section, I want to talk about using the Survivor UI and how to effectively communicate with your teammates with it. Because I feel like a lot of people don't understand how incredibly useful the UI is for actually telling people what to do. So for an example, like right here, we see somebody is on a hook. We see another person is being chased. That's what the little wiggly symbol around their name means. They're being chased. Now, I am on a generator. The other guy, the fourth guy, has no symbol next to his name. That means he is very likely running for the save. So that's us communicating for each other, okay, you go get the save. And that's very often what will happen. Now, I'm not saying this is foolproof. Not every single time there's perfect communication with the symbols and stuff like that. And sometimes he's actually just AFK or he's hiding in a corner or something like that. I'm not saying it's foolproof, but the vast majority of the time in this type of scenario, if I continue to work on this generator, that is me telling my teammate to go get the save. Now, what if we're both working on a generator? Well, you can communicate via the symbols. I'll get off the generator. If he doesn't get off the generator, then I run in for the save. If I get off the generator, but then he also gets off too, I'll start running, and then I'll wait to see if he gets back on the generator or not. If he doesn't, then I'll run back to my generator. And it's possible you'll both bounce back and forth, for a few seconds and waste a little bit of time. It's not peak efficiency, but the point is you can use what your teammates are doing as information to basically end up actually talking to each other. Again, it's not direct communication, but learning how to use this Survivor UI, it has buffed Survivor so much compared to before when there was absolutely nothing. It's one of the biggest buffs solo queue's ever gotten, and I feel like a lot of people minimize how incredibly useful this mechanic is. It's the type of scenario where you can have a generator starting to near completion, and now that tells a teammate, because they can see the last generator is at 95%, that tells a teammate to go run toward a door. And once that happens, when the generator pops, you'll have a teammate already opening the door as soon as that happens, but you didn't say anything to each other. You can just infer it from the things that you're being shown on your screen. Additionally, starting next patch, you'll be able to see your teammates' perks, finally. So now, if they're on the hook, for example, and they have deliverance, you can just leave them. Just don't go do anything. If they're on the ground and they have unbreakable, just leave them. Go work on a generator. Go, help with the killer or something like that. Like, all of these things, all of this information has made it so close to actually being Survivor with Friends. It's not quite there, short of actual voice chat or in-game typing chat. We're not going to ever be able to completely match it, but between all of these changes that the developers have made, we're pretty close to the level of communication that you could effectively get while having actual voice comms. And so the game does have communication. People just need to, in my opinion, learn how to use it correctly. Again, it's not foolproof, but it's significantly better than nothing. And I think because of that, as long as people learn how to use this, the frustrations with communication will actually start to go down over time. Next, the final step, by far the most important step of this whole process to actually enjoy solo queue. Stop giving a fuck. Who cares what the result is? The only thing you get from escaping is nothing. You don't get, you get 5,000 bonus blood points or something like that. The obsession people have with Monopoly money, invisible MMR in this game is something I will never ever understand. Again, I even understand it more in something like World of Warcraft, because if you lose in an arena, your MMR goes down. You see the number. You see the immediate impact of you losing, especially due to bad teammates or something like that. You immediately feel that impact, and it feels bad. In Dead by Daylight, there's nothing. The only thing that happens when you lose is it becomes increasingly likely that you'll have a more fun match later. That's the penalty for losing. You get to have more fun because the killer's probably going to be less good if you consistently lose. If you think about it like that, why the fuck would you even want to win? I understand there's that inherent, just human drive. When you're playing a game, you want to win and stuff like that. But I will see people that will get chased for, 5 minutes. They get tunneled the entire game. And because of that, their team actually gets to escape, but then they die, and then they're mad about it, and they're mad about tunneling and stuff like that. Dude, if you're in that scenario, I consider that a win. The way I have joy in solo queue is realizing that even if my teammates disconnect, no matter what, I still get to engage with the chase with the killer, which in my opinion is the most fun part about the game. Both on Killer and Survivor, interacting with the killer, fighting the opposition is the most fun aspect of the game. And pretty much no matter what, you can still get into that scenario in solo queue. That's why, I even prefer Survivor over killer when disconnecting is super heavy. Because when I'm playing killer, if I have two people disconnect, I'm just bored. I win by default, basically. I'm just playing a single player game with cheats at that point. It's just not even fun anymore. Now, if my teammates disconnect in solo queue, we're going to lose, of course, but I still get to be chased by the killer. I still get to improve at being chased. I still get to do the most fun thing in the game, which is why I genuinely, right now, prefer solo queue over playing killer. Even if I win every killer game, I would rather die every survivor game than win every killer game right now, because it guarantees I will be able to engage with the chase mechanics of the game. So that is something that I think a lot of people should try to focus in on. Stop worrying so much about the result of the match because you get nothing for it. There is no tangible reward for actually escaping versus not escaping. And again, I'm not saying don't try to escape. Of course, try to escape. That's the point of Survivor, is to try to escape. But until the MMR is changed in such a way that it actually accounts for skill, which it currently doesn't. Now, they did say they are working on that at some point, but God knows how long that'll take and if it will even fix anything. As long as MMR is as stupid as it actually is, the only thing you should focus on is just trying to have fun in the match with your chases and stuff like that. If you're not able to escape because your team is bad, look, even in that scenario where a lot of people get upset, like say you run the killer for 5 minutes in that scenario, but instead of everyone getting out, they did one gen during that time for some reason. For some unknown reason, your teammates just did nothing for 5 minutes. Even in that scenario, when we all inevitably die, I still have fun doing that because I got chased by the killer. Even if I get, like tunneled by the killer, I'm usually running at least DS, so that means I'm getting to do the most fun part of the game for my entire time playing the game. Again, this is a hot take that I have. I think being tunneled is one of the most fun things in the entire game because it condenses the Survivor experience to the only fun parts. Like, what else are you doing? You're doing generators and holding a button to heal people or unhooking people or something like that. There's nothing else to Survivor other than getting chased by the killer. I mean, there's macro knowledge and stuff like that, but that's not like particularly interesting. It's just a sign of skill. But if I'm getting tunneled, I am getting chased by the killer the entire game, which is the only fun part of playing Survivor. So even in that scenario, I'm happy. Really, the only times I'm probably not having a good time is if it's like the 1 in 90 games I get a twins and I'm slugged for 4 minutes on the ground because I didn't have Unbreakable or something like that. Those are not fun. I'm not going to pretend those are fun, but those are also so rare that attributing that to the entire solo queue experience is ridiculous because that, again, twins has like a 0.6% pick rate. It's a very low encounter rate to have that happen. But I think people need to get more comfortable with being tunneled because it lets you focus in on, the chase aspect of the game, which I think is the most fun part about the game. And a lot of people are not particularly good at the game, and that's why they don't like getting tunneled because they get kicked out because they can only run the killer for 15, 20 seconds. But in my opinion, every time you get tunneled, don't you get slightly and slightly better at getting tunneled? I feel like that sense of progression is far more impactful than the feeling of an invisible number getting up that you can't even fucking see and has no tangible effect on anything. The feeling of getting, hey, I ran that killer for 5 more seconds this time. That is an actual sense of personal growth, and I get so much more satisfaction from that compared to any number or rating or blood point or anything that the game would actually give me. That sense of getting better at the game because I keep getting tunneled or something like that, that's a good thing to me. So again, you might think that opinion is weird, and that's fine. I'm just trying to give you my insights into why I enjoy solo queue and why I have just always kind of preferred that, even with playing Survivor with friends. Like, I very rarely play in like a group of survivors. Like, I almost never do. I think I play with like one other person occasionally, but usually I'm just in solo queue and I'm usually just having a good time. I think the most important thing you can do with Dead by Daylight is stop taking the game so seriously. It is a jumbled, unbalanced train wreck of a mess, and embracing that is extremely important to enjoying it. Like, if you're in an area as Survivor and you are just running from area to area and all the pallets have been used and you go down for it, why would you be upset about that? Why would you be upset about any of the things happening there? You didn't do anything wrong. There's no demerit to your skill level. It wasn't your fault. If you have shitty teammates that throw the game, that still has nothing to say about you as a player. You are still good. You still did everything right. And you should feel good about that. Like, don't hang the result of the match on your teammates. Let it be all about self-progression. Let it be about you being better at the game, you getting better, and stop worrying about everything else. I think if you do that, you genuinely will enjoy the game a lot more. Stop caring about the invisible MMR that does nothing. Start caring more about your personal growth and getting better at the game, because that to me is very fulfilling. So that's it. Those are just my 3 little steps and enjoying solo queue. Again, I'm not making this up. Go watch any of my VODs. And whenever I'm playing Survivor, I'm having a good time 90% of the time. So that's going to be it for me. Hopefully this can help you guys. Thanks for watching. See you next time.